up one morning and I said, I'm not going to let anybody tell my story to my kids except me. And I hope that anybody else that feels like that.
I remember when making music was an art. 2013, everything that fell apart. Used to have to make demo takes from the store. Rapped about the hood shit, slow to your heart. $200 for reals. You had to cut and splice, not copy and paste to get deals. Hustle on the block with cassettes. No matter if you banged or not, you had to cross red and blue sets. Slugs and Skateland, Crips at World on Wheel. Dr. Village trying to display your skills. No Facebook or Twitter. Bad bill for none of that. No MP3 formats. Studio time, you had to pay no matter what you done. Not blowing up, rapping for fun. Fuck the police from January to December. That was real hustling, nigga. I remember. Just A.M. Lil Wayne and Drake, you'd have never heard of him. Soulja Boy, tell him you wouldn't have heard of him. Pac had the juice living way above the rim. They had it popping on the west. True. Greg Mack line with the mix master crew. Back on Rushmore every day before school. Performing arts we all use as the steppers do. The industry is flooded like a Katrina. Going platinum is obsolete. He sounds just like him, called it repeat. Nobody got a hustle on the street. Don't pay a producer. Just use the industry beat. The history of rap niggas ain't know it. Yeah, you the shit now, flush it down the toilet. D25, I was born in December. We all put in work back then, I remember.
I was born March 6, 1962 in Morgantown, West Virginia. My parents were Ruth, Spencer, and Robert Wilson. I lived with my grandparents because my mom and dad really didn't get along because my granddad wasn't playing that. If he wasn't gonna marry my mom, he had to stay away from her. So I lived in a little town called Kingwood, West Virginia with my grandparents because my mom had went to California. She was doing her thing, going all around and going to school and things like that.
So born March the 6th, 1962 in Morgantown, West Virginia. The first of 6 of my beautiful children. We came to California first. Scotty stayed with mom and dad, which spoiled him. They spoiled the doo out of him. When daddy died, I went back to get him. And of course I had problems out of him. He didn't want to act right. I was going to tell grandpa on me. How you going to tell grandpa on me? And my daddy dead and gone. But that was his grandpa. Okay, Scotty went to school. Where'd you go to school first?
Woodcrest. What street was we living on when we first came to California?
111th and Budlong.
Remember that palm tree?
The palm tree, we have pictures. I hope you put pictures with this.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put some
We
pictures.
have pictures of the kids when they were small, all of them stair steps. So that wasn't even thought of then. Had 5. Scotty, Tony, Cliff, Ricky, and Sheila. We left Budlong. We went to 140th and Avalon. We always had parties. We're in a big family. The Gordons, we always had parties. Everybody in the family had
How was the entertainment for the parties? What did I used to do at the parties?
Scotty was a DJ and an entertainer. He always had a knack for entertainment. He would always come out. I'd have him to come and dance for us. He'd always play the records. He knew what records that we liked. He still know the records that I like when he DJ parties now. He DJ all my parties. Everybody started getting into
How long was that? How many years ago was that?
Ooh, Scotty, you're 47. So that's been, I think you started when you were about 5 years old. So look how long.
I thought I started cooking when I was 5. I didn't know.
You started everything when you was 5.
Woo.
Probably doing a lot of other things too, but we don't know. You know.
It's my pops, y'all. This big clip. Be filthy rich. Scotty D got lost yourself up in the game yourself. Enjoyed yourself too damn much. Oh, you supposed to be getting paid while you was enjoying it.
I was getting paid, man. I was really enjoying
real
myself
money.
a lot. So
You supposed to be enjoying yourself.
I seen a million in sweatsuits, a million doing the promotions, a million doing the DJing, and I got a lot to show for it. That's why I'm going here putting together this documentary. So what's up, Pop? Talk to me, man. Tell me how Scotty was when he was growing up, man. From like, let's start from 9. When I first came to California, back there in 1969?
69.
Was living on 111th and Butler.
Right on the corner.
Remember all the parties y'all used to do?
Man, I remember we partied hardy back then, and never had a lot of problems. You being a little devious. I guess you goddamn had it too much to yourself when you was back down there with your granny. And this was able to do everything you wanted. They probably thought you could do that shit when you came here. We had to chastise your ass a little bit. But you was all right. You turned out all right. You made your mistakes. You paid for them.
And I chose to stay with my grandparents in Kingwood, which I learned a lot there. All of my cousins were older than me, so they taught me how to shoot guns, ride motorcycles, fish, things like that. Country people stuff. You know, I'm a country boy by heart. My dad was a dancer. I would go see him on weekends in Morgantown, where I had my great-grandmother, which was Ball Newsom. And my grandmother lived down the street from one another, and my dad lived up above him on top of the hill. I would go and see him and hang out with my Uncle Bullwinkle. He taught me a lot of things. He was about 10 years older than me, so he knew the ropes around town. He would take me doing the same thing, stores, fishing. But I would go frequently visit my dad, and I was into this dancing thing because where I lived at, my grandparents wasn't into all that entertainment. They were bootleggers. And my granddad was like a constable, which is a sheriff. He's the first black sheriff in Kingwood, West Virginia. And he also had a beer garden. A beer garden is like a bootleg joint, you know, like an after-hour little spot. They call it a beer garden. So he's a beer garden specialist. He's a constable, and my grandmother was a bootlegger in town. Sundays, they didn't sell liquor. My grandmother did that. She made homebrew. We would help her put the caps on the beer, and she would sell liquor, you know, get it from across state lines. But in Morgantown, when I was hanging out with my dad, I used to see how he would dance. He was really tall, about 6'9", handsome man. And he would always have different females at his house, but he would be dancing, putting these grooves on, different songs. So when I would go back home, I would listen to the radio, and I would also watch a lot of TV. So I would watch this guy named Ed Sullivan. I think he come on every Sunday. And one time I was watching, I seen this guy get on there and was doing some dancing like my dad. His name was James Brown. So I tried to start practicing what I learned from my dad and what I seen James Brown do. Then later on, I saw this group doing the same type of dances, but in unison. They were called the Temptations. So I was mimicking that, having a lot of fun in Kingwood until one day, 1969, my granddad died. That was my best friend, my mentor. He showed me a lot, talked to me all the time. He passed on. My mom came from California, where she had married my stepdad, Clifford Gordon. And she came and got me, we got on the train, we went back to California, which was a cultural shock. I got there, in other words, it was from the sticks to the bricks. I landed in a concrete jungle on 111th and Butler, South Central Los Angeles. Moving to California from the sticks to the bricks in 1969 was a culture shock for me. But like I said, my mom and my dad had good jobs. lived on 111th and Budlong. My dad worked for the LA Times, my mom worked for the post office. But I had an uncle lived across the street named Johnny. Johnny and my dad worked for the LA Times, and he took an interest in me as I was a young kid, and I was always inspired to do things. You know, I was really energetic, and I wasn't a part of my environment, which was things going on, negative things, in California at the time.
The Watts Writers Work Group opened its doors in 1965 to provide opportunity for local surrounding community people to express their rage and artistic creative talents by embracing theater, art, and literacy. Out of this creative environment, I'm talking about the Watts Prophets. The Watts Prophets are Otis Solomon, Father M.D. Hamilton, and Richard Ditos. This unique combination of poets formed in 1967 at the Watts Writers Workshop brought visual manifestation through spoken word. Their social commentary was a mirror of day-to-day life, racism, rage, and civil rights violations of blacks in America. Their first recording, Rapping Black in a White World, makes these poets the founding fathers, the seeds, the harvest, the roots of styles and creators of rap in America.
Man, the man who started all the hip-hop, my name is Scotty D Spencer. And Father MD, I'm doing a piece right now called How the West Was Won. I worked with Low over at Death Row when he got signed there. I worked with Tweed Cadillac for many, many years. Like I said, my name is Scotty D Spencer. And Father, I just did a piece on you in my film. And it's just a blessing right now to be able to speak to you right now to let you know that you are the God, Father, you and your group, that three-man combination. I don't know how God put you guys together, how you guys you guys had a chemistry, and to this day, you guys were bouncing off of one another like you guys slept together and you ate together and you was born in the same womb. And I'm just here to tell you.
We did all those things. We slept together, we worked together, we lived together for 2 years, practicing and trying, and changing things and doing it different ways. Because we found out that the regular poetry, the Langston Hugheses and the Nikki Giovanni's and all them, they didn't work for the people down in the project, down in the ghetto. That didn't work for them. They needed more rhythm. They needed more content that related to them. They needed more, it had to be more compelling. You just couldn't get up there and do a Langston Hughes poem. That was good for his era, the Harlem Renaissance and all that. But this was a new day. And just as today is a new day. So, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I got another question. Like, when you guys were at the Watts Writers Workshop, I did a piece in my film, and I'm talking about Tommy Jaquette, of how he put together the Watts Festival. And I put another piece together on Al Bell, how he put the Watts stack. But when I came around to doing the Watts Writers Workshop.
May I tell you, I hope your film is not finished, because I want to tell you something about how Watts Stack came up. Richard Dito was writing for Stack's Records. He was doing a film, Richard Dito of the Watts Prophets. So when the Tommy Jaquette Watts Festival came about, we, the Watts Prophets, Richard asked Al Bell, I believe, who was the head of Stax Records, if they could bring Isaac Hayes to the building where we were working at, which was Mafundi Institute on 103rd and Wilmington. We wanted to bring Isaac Hayes there. He was huge then. The police department found out about it and came to us and told us we could not bring Isaac Hayes to 103rd and Wilmington. Where would the people park? That it would block up Watts if we tried to do something like that. So Richard went down to Tommy Jaquette and them and asked, could we have it at the park? And then other entities started coming in. And the next thing you know, Richard was kind of on the side. And it was done because, as always, we wanted things to be different. If you notice that Watts Stack did not have not one person from Watts, those people were all from Memphis.
True. That's true.
Even them were saying, we're the Watts people. So I just wanted you to know that. I don't know if your film is finished or not, but that's a little thing.
Amen. I appreciate you. Another question, Father. How was it feeling for you going through the eulogy with Bob Marley? I mean, how did that even come about?
Well, Bob Marley and I were both Ethiopian Orthodox. I'm an Ethiopian Orthodox priest, and Bob and I were in the church together, and we were assigned to the youth organization in the Western Hemisphere. And how I met Bob was at a Ethiopian World Federation meeting early before I was a priest. And then when I was a priest, his confidant, Archbishop Yisak, who lived in a duplex next door to Bob Marley and his family. And when I would come to Jamaica to study with him, I would live next door to Bob. So that's how I got to know him. But he didn't know that I was a poet until one day we were in the studio in Jamaica. And I didn't know Bob was there, but I was in there with his musicians. And they asked me to do a poem. And I did the poem that I did at his funeral, Wisdom and Knowledge Left College. And when I did the poem in the studio, I heard somebody in the booth clapping. And it was Bob Marley. And he came out and he said, I didn't know you was a poet. He says, who are you? I said, then I gave him our album and our book. The next day he came back and he told me he stayed up and he read our album and listened to our album and read our book. And he wanted to record with us. And when he died, we were preparing. We were on the board. I can see our name now. We were scheduled to record. He wanted us to do his music and us do our book. Bob noticed what that was early. He knew immediately that it was something different.
So Johnny would take me out and I would make money with him throwing newspapers early in the morning. So he got some tickets to this show at the LA Coliseum. I would never forget it. It's right in my mind. It goes back and forth. And it was a thing called Watch Stack.
Yeah, I got a question. How you doing, Mr. Bill? My name is Scotty D Spencer. I want to know, why did you pick California to watch that?
Interesting. Thank you, sir. I'm really proud of that. That was a highlight in my life. Watch that. Talked about a venue, I think that would hold about 750 people. But the more we got to talking about it, my mind got to working. And I said, finally, to cut to the chase. Now we're going to rent the Los Angeles Stadium. And we're going to take our entire roster of artists, including an artist I had just signed and had a hit on him at that time, who was a comedian by the name of Richard Pryor.
Over 100,000 black people came together to commemorate that moment in American history. For over 6 hours, the audience heard, felt, sang, danced, and shouted the living word in a soulful expression of the black experience.
We put 112,000 people in there, did not have one incident from 11 o'clock that morning until midnight. No problems at all, no LAPD, none of that. Finally, LAPD came out just to control the traffic. But that's as far as they could come based on our contract.
See, my grandparents lived on Central off of Imperial, right behind Carver Park on a street called Robin Street. And we would frequent there all the time because, like I said, my grandparents owned 2 houses right on this land, right across the street from Stop's Restaurant, which is right on the south end of Central and Imperial. But we would always go to Watts Festival in Watts. So he gave me some tickets, and me and him went to the concert. And we went to the concert, like I said, when I was a kid, I used to like to dance. So we got there, and they had this beautiful concert. I think we paid like $1 to get in this beautiful concert. The riots had just stopped. This is like the 7th anniversary of the Watts Festival, the uprising of Watts, not the Watts Rise, the uprising of Watts, which is going on right now in 2019, where we're being oppressed by police brutality.
Since Watts Stacks came out of LA, we use LA as a luncheon pad. And that's where everything basically pop up out of. It didn't come out of Memphis, and all the Stacks artists, it was widely accepted in LA. That sound, that whole feeling. And most of a lot of people that worked for Stacks was out of LA.
I went to this concert. I'm sitting there enjoying myself. Music loud, people everywhere. I'm from, West Virginia, country town. I didn't never see this many people at one time in a place, so I'm listening to the music, but I'm looking around, and I see these people in the foyer. They were dancing. They were doing a dance I never seen before. Be a dance called The Lock, which was Don Kelman, which was the founder of The Lock. He was also with this other guy named Greg Pope. He was from Compton, and there was a lady there. I ended up seeing her on Soul Train later. Her name was Demita Jo Freeman. Those, to me, were the first three lockers.
My name is Demita Jo Freeman.
How you doing, Demita?
Hi.
Don Campbell.
Hi, Don. Namesake. Demita, how would you explain the dance you and Don were doing?
Oh, well, it's just a combination of the breakdown and the rubber band and many other things.
Camelot.
Yeah, the Camelot.
Camelot, yeah. Camelot, yeah. Camelot, yeah. Camelot, yeah. You got to come out on the floor, get down and up your back. You can't get it on. Look out, get back. I'm doing Camelot, yeah, yeah.
They were doing that dance down there, locking and moving around, and there was some other people around them, but another guy stood out, and he was a little chubby guy. He had a members-only jacket on, some Levi's, little afro, kind of chubby, but he walked over there where they were doing their dancing at the locking, and he started doing his dancing in slow motion, like the Matrix. He was doing it, but he was doing everything they were doing. I was like, wow, what is that they're doing?
The Watts Writers Workshop expanded its theatrical component, headed by actor Yafi Koto in 1972, with a grant from the National Endowment of the Arts for Artistic Creative People in Watts. Within the theatrical department in 1972, Sue Baker organized the teachings of a street dance called Camelot. Her classes formed one of the first street dance groups called Creative Generation, which was composed of several local surrounding area dancers. Captain Crunch and the Funky Bunch, the Go-Go Brothers, members later brought unisons to the dance group called the Lockers. Members also became popular on the television show Soul Train, until the Watts Writers Workshop was burned down in 1973 by a COINTELPRO FBI informant who began confessing his activities in 1975. For decades, these two genesis of street dancing and rapping have been separated from their forefathers, but the truth doesn't spoil. It's always fresh. A change is overdue. Research these pioneers of black culture from Watts, and this is how the West was won.
Now, I couldn't talk to my uncle. He was a square from Delaware. He was about his money, LA Times throwing papers. And I was just in shock to see these guys dance. The concert went on. Time went on. We left the Watts Festival. I didn't see no police at all in this place. None. All I seen a lot of Crips, different neighborhoods, motorcycle jackets on. There was a lot of different people, cultures from all over LA, because it only cost $1 to get in. Over 100,000 people in this event that Al Bell put on. And he's one of the founding fathers of West Coast hip hop.
It was 1760 in the UK. The first roller skate was invented and it was made of wood. Once it hit the United States, the wheels were modified from wood to steel. Nowadays, they have Teflon thick rubber, chrome and gold scuffs, customized shoes and boots. Roller skating rinks here in the United States became popular in the 1960s, early 70s. Roller skating rinks popped up all over the United States, especially here in Southern California, simply because Venice Beach was and still is a place to show off your skate talents to the public. But when the night comes, skate rinks become the hang spots for skate clubs and individuals to flaunt their skills. Most skating rinks have specialty days that cater to skaters of all ages. From the 1970s to the present, these 5 skating rings were cracking.
The Hollywood Roller Bowl got popular in 1968 until it closed in 1969. City officials would not renew the permit to skate to these 2 black, 2 strong clients. It reopened as a nightclub, the Stardust Ballroom in 1975 for dancing and skating on the inside, while the lowrider scene was in full effect on the outside. Hundreds of cars were parking lot pimping and cruising Hollywood and Sunset Boulevard every Sunday night. We enjoy the best of both worlds from 1968, skate nights at Hollywood Skating Ring, to the closing of Stardust Ballroom in 1982.
The Sherman Square Roller Rink was in Reseda, California on Sherman Way Boulevard in the Valley of Los Angeles. It was a great Thursday night skate spot. Management even let dance promoters like Roger Clayton, Uncle Jam's Army, Michael Young, Starlight Productions, and Lollipop Promotion do special shows with several up-and-coming freestyle singers and rappers in the mid-'80s through the '90s, before it was tore down and replaced with a Walgreens in 2001. The Skate Depot Roller Rink, located in Cerritos, California, was the largest skating rink in the county. It was as large as a hockey rink. It also had a Thursday night adult night. But after 35 years of catering to skaters of all ages that only wanted to rock, roll, skate, and bounce, owners were forced to close the doors August 24, 2014. Skateland USA on Central Avenue and 135th Street in the city of Compton was a 36-lane bowling alley, restaurant, and cocktail lounge in 1962. Owned by Woodley Lewis, a Compton native and former defensive back football player for the Los Angeles Rams. Its opening launched the first wave of black entrepreneurship in Compton, California. Next door was Dudo's Music Center and Entertainment Complex, owned by Walter Dootsy Williams, record producer. This complex was a combined recording studio, film and television production facility with a 1,000-seat auditorium, Compton's own NBC. The Williams-Lewis prosperous vision for South Central Avenue didn't last through the mid-1970s. A fire destroyed the bowling alley, and Dudo owner turned the complex into a nightclub operated by Lonzo Williams. Sportsman's Bowling Alley was purchased by visionary Craig Swashinger, who remodeled, renamed, and reopened the doors in November 1984. Skateland USA was in full effect. Not only could you go there to skate, but Craig brought in Lonzo Williams of the world-class wrecking crew, Roger Clayton of Uncle Jam's Army, and Big DJ Slip to put on local rap and up-and-coming New York City rapper concerts. 1580 K-Day's Greg Mack did live broadcasts, making this the first outlet to showcase rappers on the West Coast. Until the doors closed in the mid-1990s on both sites, Dudo's Music Complex and Skateland USA were demolished in 2018 for single-family homes. Salute to Craig and all that helped his vision become a reality and a piece of West Coast history. The Rosecrans Skating Ring, located in Gardena, California, on Rosecrans Boulevard and Western Avenue, was the oldest skating ring that catered to black adult skate nights and skaters of all ages in the 1970s. By this club being on a major boulevard, it attracted the lowrider culture, fly cars showcasing in the parking lot and cruising up and down the boulevard before and after skating was jumping off on the inside of the building. Before Skateland USA, Skate Depot, World on Wheels, this was the happening spot. Everybody has a story to say about the Rosecrans Skating Ring, but it vanished without a trace of documented history in the late 1980s. It's been a swap meet discount mall since the early 1990s. World on Wheels Skating Ring opened its doors in October 1981. Located on Venice Boulevard in the Midtown Shopping Center, this skating ring catered to skaters of all ages, plus was available for rental to do specialty shows and private parties. World on Wheels is the first skating rink that had a cover charge to come in and roller skate. In the mid-1980s, 1580 K-Day started doing live broadcasts there, entertaining rap contests, DJ battles, and live performances from local and New York City-based rappers. World on Wheels closed its doors in 2013, but reopened fully remodeled in 2017 with the financial help of local rap icon Nipsey Hussle. Yeah, in 1970, I fell out of a tree, or avocado tree, and I fractured my arm. So my mom was trying to cheer me up. So she took me to my cousin's house out in Compton, Big Pete, Auntie Marlene, Orrin, cousin Kenny, Sharon, a.k.a. Duty, and my cousin Big Moose and Big Pete. We go out to their house. My cousin was trying to cheer me up. So they brought me in their backyard and they said, man, come check us out. So I went back there and it was inside of this, like a cage with chicken wire around it, wood everywhere. You know, I never seen anything like that before. I'm like, what y'all doing? So I'm going to give you something. So when this cage, it came out with this big old white bird, like a chicken. I'm like, man, what y'all got, chickens back? No, this is a pigeon. I'm like, a pigeon? Wow, okay. And he told me how to hold it. I picked it up. It's a big old bird. So you can have that, you know, cheer you up. I'm like, cheer me. I don't want no pigeon, but I'm like, okay. It was really a setup. He was trying to get these swing tires I had. And he knew how to do it too. I kind of liked the bird, took the bird home, tried to raise it. I didn't like it because it didn't do nothing. It didn't fly. Because at my cousin Big Pete and Moose house, they threw their birds up and they was up in the air and they was just coming down, tumbling like this. I'm like, I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to get me a bunch of birds too. So my cousin said, hey, come over. I got another bird for you, but you got to bring those rims. So I took the rims to him off my swing, and he gave me another bird. This bird looked really nice, like it was ready to do something. But I took the bird home. All that bird did was roll on the ground. But that bird really is an expensive bird at that time. See, pigeons, everybody had a bird cage. If you wasn't low riding, you had a bird cage. I didn't know this stuff, you know, just coming from West Virginia in 1969, hanging out with my cousins in 1970, because my arm was fractured from climbing an avocado tree. Yeah, avocado, big as your mouth. I mean, it can fit, big old avocado. So make a long story short, I started progressing, going over my cousin's house, trying to learn how to raise these two birds I had. And then one day he said, man, come on, I want you to go with me. And we had a knapsack, like a potato sack. And we rolled, he got a potato sack, I got it. So we going, oh, man, first go over my boy house, man. He stole some of my birds. Let's go get him back. So, all right, I'm not knowing it was a setup again. He was taking me to go hit somebody's bird cage. How about that? We went up in there and took all them birds, you know, came back to the house, he laughing. He gave me another bird. One bird out of those 20, 30 birds we took, you know. He gave me one bird. Said, no, we sharing these. You just come over anytime. You can, you know, these your birds too. Nah, not Big Pete, not Little Moose. Wasn't going down like that. That was they birds. I just got my cut. So as time goes on, I'm still hanging out with them with these birds, and they start taking me to other places, like other people's houses that was rolling birds. In other words, they had like a little club in Compton. Everybody that knew each other, you know, a lot of them guys all knew one another in the bird game.
Scotty D, let me know when your daughter is ready to bring me the DVDs, loco. Good looking out. I appreciate that. Ain't it, man?
Lutheran Gardens, to me, that's the mecca of all music in Compton. They came out, that's where the nucleus started at, for me, just my opinion. I get over there to drop Bridget off to get her some clothes, and my boy Juan, him and Bridget were talking, and she said, Juan put a tape in. She said, what is that music y'all playing? With that super sperm. Juan was the king of that pause tape stuff at that time. So he had that little pause tape in. She said, that music, y'all playing that old crazy music. Them boys in the front be doing the same thing. And me and Juan look at each other like, what?
That's not where it came from. It came from over here in this little dark area that we call Compton. You know what I'm saying? In 78 and 79, DJ D was spinning on the turntables, doing his thing on a daily basis.
Who in the front playing that music? Oh, them boys in the front, DJ D and them, like, what? Take us up there. So we went up there, and when I first walked up, I saw a little guy I went to school with, little Richie C, best friend. I'll be up. Then I hear the music. They got a cassette playing inside their car stall. And they had a little tape recorder up in there. It was rocking. I'm like, yo, who's that right? That's us. I'm like, that's y'all? And he introduced me to his cousin, which was DJ D, his other cousin, Gerald Valentine, his other cousin, Derek Valentine. It was like one little family. All these guys are from New York, you know, but they living in Compton in the Lutheran Garden Project.
We're out here in the CPT, still putting it down on how the West was won. I'm Scotty D, your host. In this sacred garden called the Lutheran Gardens, where hip-hop started on the West Coast. Big T. Drew, he was around back then. That's my man Richie C over there. The man behind the camera right now, you know, filming us, that's a devastating man they call DJ D on the ones and twos. He set it down out here in 1979. We're going to interview him right now. How the West was won. Check us out.
So like we went up to the room, and DJ D got on the turntable. His hands were sticky, icky. I'm gonna put the blindfold on. Drill and WizKid and Richie C was on the microphone, just killing it. Derek got on the mic. They was just doing some stuff, and I heard the same sound, and I heard these same type of raps in Job Corps. I'm hooked now, and I'm a funk DJ. I just felt right then and there, I'm gonna DJ. But I'm going to promote this thing right here. This is my thing. I'm supposed to be the Don King of the Soundmaster crew. So Juan, being who he is, Juan was a good DJ. All of us were good DJs. But Juan felt he can do a better job with the Soundmaster crew, fall back, get some equipment. Juan was still, to this day, he's really technical about building speakers, laying out outboards. He can do anything dealing with sound. So Juan fell back, he started being a technical engineer. I fell back and said, okay, I'm good with my mouthpiece. I might as well go ahead and promote these guys.
I'm Juan, the man, the myth, the legend, the quiet storm, Grey Poupon, filet mignon, all that. But that don't matter, it's not about me. My man Scotty D, true pioneer. You know what I'm saying? We were there from day one. And what I mean by day one, I'm talking about how the West was truly won. And we're gonna do this one time for your mind. How hip-hop started for me was when me and Scotty met up in Job Corps. I knew it was something big. You know, you got people that could take nothing and turn it into something. And it all starts with a dream. It starts with you. If you don't believe it, nobody else is going to believe it. You know, but we heard something that we knew was phenomenal. And I got to give it up to Scotty. You know what I'm saying? He took a dream and turned it into more than a vision. He made a way for a lot of people because he felt it in his heart. I met DJ D, you know, both of us from New York. I was staying over in Compton on Rosecrans and Bradford, right down the street from Ludus Park on Palmer, you know, in between Rosecrans and Bradford. And I was riding around playing a pause tape, a Super Sperm. I had one turntable and a mixer, you know, but I knew how to make it sound like I had two turntables. See, I don't know about it. It was before samplers and all that. We used to make the record loop by itself. Well, I just made it, we was going soup.
Yeah. So we did a lot of house parties, we did block parties, we would go to any park and just set up the equipment, get out. In neighborhoods, I know I'm not supposed to be over here. I'm Blue Rat. I'm in Ludus Park, we're in Enterprise. We go to Jordan, being in talent show with Centennial school dance. We're all in the yearbooks up there. We got pictures of us getting down. In like 82, we did the Sweetheart Dance at Centennial High School. Dr. Dre didn't graduate to 83. You know, look at the shots. Dre is there. You know, while we were getting down, I believe this is right before he went over to the Eve After Dark. So people knew about us. And what they knew about us, that we were one unit in Compton doing our thing. Mixmaster Spade came along at the same time we all got together in 1979. Spade was working at a liquor store down the street from my house on 79th. I went up in there one day, and I heard this sound when I walked in. One of my guys, DJ D mixtapes. I know D's sound. The first day I met D, I knew his sound because I knew that man. I knew how he got out. Nobody else was doing that in our city that I knew of. Who's the gardens at?
Man, right there in Compton, right there in the CPT, you know, right in between Alameda and Wilmington, you know, right there in the hood, you know, and that was where hip hop really started, you know, but I knew her on the back. And she said she knew some other cats from New York that lit up in the front. So I'm like, all right, bet, I want to meet them, you know. So little did I know that I already knew Denard and Derek, and that's how I met Richie Rich, Richie C, and G Wiz, and that's how we got started. You know, we talking about music.
Excuse me, so who was that up there on that radio making that music? He said, Spade had a gold Spade right there, gold too. He said, oh man, just me, man. I'm like, you lying, homie? That's my homeboy DJ D. And Spade said, oh wow, sorry about that. Hey, you know DJ D? I said, yeah, that's my homeboy. He said, I want to meet him. I'm like, what? Okay, what's your name? He said, I'm Mixed Master Spade. I'm like, man. No, he said, my name is Spade. He didn't have a Mixed Master yet. My name is Spade. Oh, okay. All right. No problem. Got Spade's number. I gave you mine. Next thing you know, we all meet. We go over D House. And the rest is Westery.
We're going to say from 79. From 79 to the present, who was the first person that you know of that was making mixtapes out here in Compton?
Beats and all that?
Yeah, rapping and scratching.
Looking at them. I just told you about them. Sound Masters from Castle Hill.
And who are they?
DJ D,
who is
Yo,
that's you?
C, Wizkid. I'm DJ D with the Compton shirt on.
You was the first one that had turntables out here in Compton.
First one out.
And they were the first ones rapping.
Went to the Eve after dark, went to the parks, all that stuff, man. They didn't understand, like, what this guy doing?
Just set up your equipment, just get out.
Set it up, plug it up in a lamppost, all that stuff, just like we did in New York in the parks out there.
And it's got busy. People coming from miles around just to hear y'all spin.
What's up, Just Ice? How you doing? You know me too, Just. Come on now.
So was Juan in the crew?
DJ Juan, Magic.
Okay, how you get around with transportation? Who came along later on with the transportation?
Scotty D.
And who else?
Scotty D.
My man over there, my grandma had a daycare center.
Oh, Butch.
Butch.
Butch. Butch. DJ with Butch.
Butch had the equipment.
Butch had us going around with the monster sound.
Yeah.
Where you at, Butch?
3 parties a night.
Yeah, Butch had
every
it going
weekend.
down. Butch had it going down. He had
just couldn't get that
like
huge crowd like Uncle Jam's Army, right?
That's right.
Until that one night.
We had enough of crowd. We had enough.
But that night we went down to the Los Angeles Convention Center with Uncle Jam's Army, got invited.
We only had a few minutes and we still turned it out for the whole night.
But that night, everybody saw one thing. They saw y'all on turntables and y'all rapping on the microphone.
We have a picture of that too, right?
No, we only got the pictures just in the front.
Yeah.
All right, who got it?
I don't know.
I remember.
Who got that picture?
I met Mr. Master Spade that night.
What's up, Mason?
Live on El Segundo Boulevard, Lutheran Garden Apartment Complex. Back in the days is where it started at, like the late 70s, early 80s with the homeboys, Nord, DJ D. Straight out of New York, chilling in Compton, breaking it down with the turntables out there on the big grass, by the front office, mixing, scratching. All that shit was cracking back in the days before these suck-ass Willie niggas came out.
Who else is in the group?
Artists, Coolio, a lot of old school niggas. I can't recall a lot of their names.
What about
Gerald Valentine. Richard, you, your brother. Derek Denard. Basically them the ones.
What about Juan?
Juan. I was a little kid then, riding around on skates and bikes and shit, but this is one of the foundations where it all took off at, right here in Compton. Live.
Where we at in Compton?
On the Gondo, El Segundo Boulevard, Lutheran Garden Apartment.
How the West was won, part 1. We're going back OG style with y'all. Y'all ain't even understand that. I'm chilling with my man Coolio from 1978, 2014. Check this out.
I started rapping because of the nigga. What's that nigga Juan last name?
Nevis.
Juan Nevis. I started rapping because of this nigga Juan Nevis. Okay, Juan. If y'all know who Juan is, Juan.
DJ Juan, DJ Magic back in the days.
Well, nigga wasn't no DJ back then. Nigga was rapping, and he lived in Lewis Park hood. I'm from Mont Park. He lived in Lewis Park,
Compton.
So he came over and started coming around my neighborhood. And
Lutheran Gardens, El Segundo.
Now Juan is a Puerto Rican.
Nigga Rican.
Back then, though, it wasn't no Puerto Ricans around where we was from where we was at. So,
in Compton.
So this nigga was a commodity. He was a pretty boy. Every girl that I liked this nigga Juan. And I wasn't hating or nothing, but I ain't gonna lie, I was jealous. So we was over at Juan house. Juan had some little equipment at his house. We used to go over there. Everybody used to make a little tape. We used to do one tape If you fucked up
on the pause tapes,
on the pause tape, if you fucked up on your part, then that was it. Like your part didn't come out right. You had a microphone and a cassette with the music going behind it.
Pause tapes.
Okay, so you know they was over there making a little tape, and I wasn't really rapping yet. So everybody went outside to smoke some weed, and me and Juan, we sitting in the house, and Juan kept rewinding his part. He kept going back to his part, and then finally he said, "That sounds tight, huh? That's tight. You like that? You like that? That's cool, huh?" They wasn't even calling me Coolio yet. Matter of fact, they called me Boo Daddy back then. They used to call me Boo. They used to call me Old Man. But my rap name, I ain't really had no rap name.
Didn't have no rap name.
So, what happened was he kept bragging about his part, and he asked me what I think, and I said it sounds all right. Sound cool. It sound all right. He was like, all right. He said, you know that shit's tight. I said it sound all right. He said, oh, you don't even rap. He said, man, you know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about what you think anyway. I said, so I got mad. I said, that shit right there that you wrote? I said, nigga, I can write some shit like that in 10 minutes. He said, do it then. And I did it. And that's how I started. And ever since that day, I kept on rapping. That's how I started rapping. I started rapping because I was jealous of this pretty ass nigga Juan. What's up, Juan? Nigga, you the one made me start rapping.
Oh, shit. A mixed master spade and I'm ready to rock. Baby, leave for 100 different ways. Jacking all cars with bumper kids. We all going down drinking, that's the 8-ball.
What did you say your name was?
A mixed master spade and I'm
At that time, Mixmaster Spade was already doing his thing in Compton. We were already doing our thing in Compton. And we joined forces to call ourselves the Sound Masters Crew. Established 1979, city of Compton. Mixmaster Spade, when we go over to his crib, he came over to us first. When we go to his crib, Spade already had been going. Spade was family's from New York. So Spade been going to New York on the summers, you know, bringing back records and stuff like that, doing his thing. But he didn't really have nobody to show him that, you know, straight on hand stuff. So when he met D showed him the skills.
So how'd you meet Mixmaster Spade?
Okay, I met
Tony Williams.
I met Frank Williams, which they call Tony, AKA Spade. I met him in high school, and previous before that, we was in the Cub Scouts together.
That's like junior high. That's elementary school.
That's elementary. Yeah, we met in the Cub Scouts. You know, me, Mike Williams, Cheese Man, and all of us. And you know, we used to go to the skating ring with the then parents and all that. The Rose Can skating ring which is a legend in Gardena. Rose Can and Van Ness. You know, a famous spot where all the lowriders hang out at. Then as we got older, and you know, Spade used to go to New York. That's where his pops was from. He used to go to New York every summer and learn the game out there for his mixing. And he the one that really brought it back to the West Coast. He was the first one. You know, he was coming back with the mixed tapes and all that. I used to have some old tapes with, you know, they in New York talking about 5 Below Zero and all that live on the air, you know. But before then, we was just making mixes with the pause button and all that. Then Spade came with the mixing, and we picked it up, and he was rapping, you know, and we started just doing our thing. You know, if he did a rap, and he needed me on the turntables, you know, he put me on the turntables, you know. In honor of my man, Mixmaster Spade, who brought it to Compton, to the West Coast.
Now remember, they in a different crew. Scotty's with the Sound Master crew. You know, with Coolio was the lead rapper, and you had cats that was from Brooklyn, D and them. You know what I'm saying? DJ D and them. And lo and behold, what's his name? Just Ice was his lead rapper in New York, but then his whole family moved to Compton. So that started making sense because all of the rappers in Compton at that time had a master on their name. Skate Master T. You know what I'm saying? Miss Master Spade. Okay? master rhyme. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you can start seeing where the masters in the names came from. Everybody in Compton, a lot of the rappers' names was master at first.
As a kid right here, man, say something good to Lala. What's up, Tim?
Mixed Method Spades family. Mixed Method Spades, that's like my father in the rap game, you know. My twin brother in the rap game, you know. We thicker than thieves. We hung out like wet clothes, you know. And I'm gonna miss him. You know, he taught me how to say, ha ha, oh yeah. You know.
Spade is Compton to me, straight up. So, to everybody, I love it.
So a little skinny kid that was in front of my store, he was there the next day. He got there before I got there. So I pull up, but I got my guy with me, DJ Pooh. Pooh, I said, Pooh, you know that kid right there? He said, hold on, little skinny old dusty nigga, man. That nigga like, who here with us? Nigga a liar. Off the top, Pooh didn't like Terry T. And Pooh let Terry T get out. And when Terry T got out, Pooh was like, I like him, he nice. But this was before my cousin P had came up to visit that same day. And Big P said, that nigga nice right this guy, man. You need to go and keep him. I like him. And told Pooh, better take care of him. And Big P put that down and like tell Pooh to take care of Terry T. So at that same time, Pooh, maybe about a week they was hanging out at the shop, and Pooh gave him another name. Pooh gave Terry T the name King T. I came up with a name, we gotta be a crew. You know, we can't just go down there with our crew. So we named my name Total Control.
We formed the Total Control crew.
Total Control.
This is Scotty D's doing, like, because, you know, he's booking us on these shows with Roger Clayton, you know what I'm saying, and the Uncle Jam's Army. We're opening up for Real Roxanne and Beastie Boys, Ice-T, Dana Dane, all that, and we were called Total Control.
And I made up some sweatsuits before that show happened. You know, I made all of them, J-Roll, Suave, DJ Pooh, King T. I made them all, I made me a jacket for it, you know, for the crew with our name on the back, Total Control. That was our crew. Everything just fell apart, nobody had a record, but you guys were doing shows. What were you guys' parents thinking? You guys hanging out at the shop all the time. What was that all about?
Yeah, I would never forget the time you had to come to my house and ask my mom for permission to take me up to Oakland. And you came over to the house, my grandparents' house. Moms came downstairs, and you just explained to her that, you know, this is time. You know, I have a talent, and you know, you want to get me out, you know, to see other things. And she started thanking you, you know.
My mom was like, shit, come, hurry up, take this on.
Let me sign. You got a piece of paper, let me sign. I'll sign, you can have him. You can have him.
Bye.
So I called my friend at the time, still is my partner, old DJ Unknown. I said, Unknown, look, man, I got a group up here, man. You need to check him out, because I know he had a label at that time. You want to impress me? Buy a sweatsuit. I wasn't even like pressing up records. Even the Buckwheat and the King T stuff, I never really pressed it. I still got the reels right now. I could probably put it out and do something with it, because these guys have went on to do bigger and better things. But Unknown came up there to the shop, and he grabbed King T and Pooh, and they went and was gone for a while, man, like days, and they came back with this song called Payback Some Mother. That was the first song that the New Yorkers ever played on the radio.
I made my first record, Payback Some Mother. Scotty had hooked something up with Roger Clayton.
Well, that was DJ Unknown.
Yeah, but Roger Clayton introduced you to DJ Unknown.
I've been knowing Unknown. I called Unknown and told him to come up there and check y'all out, because y'all had something going on.
Oh, okay.
And Unknown came up there, checked y'all out. Matter of fact, he took y'all with him.
We was in the studio like the next week, and I did Payback Some Other at Track Studio somewhere in Santa Monica, and we put it out. Back then, put it out, whatever. But DJ Pooh took it when he went to go work with LL Cool J with LA Posse. He took it out to New York, and New York was spinning it. They was the first to spin it, and Marley Marl, DJ Red Alert, Mr. Magic, and that's how I really got on the map. It was
And they thought King T was from somewhere else because he was the first, to me, the first West Coast D-boy. I mean, he's a straight B-boy. They were influenced by New York because we Soundmaster crew is from New York City. And DJ D was always around these guys while they were back there doing that production stuff. D would come back out. You know, he had left Cali, but he came back out. You know, he started showing us some different stuff, and they were already influenced by New York, so they took that New York element and put it into their West Coast sound and came up with the King T Cali Hop. They came up with Cali Hop. That's right, J-Ro, Cali Hop. J-Ro came up with the name Cali Hop, and they separated themselves from what everybody else was doing, like NWA was coming out. Hammer, we went up to the Bay, met Hammer and his brother Louis Burrell, and I would put those records, the NWA song, King T song, and Hammer song in these. Every time I would send stuff out, I would put them songs in there for them guys, and I had people all over. J&D's Custom Sportswear was all over the United States. Every D-boy in every city had a store, and they would buy suits from us.
Yeah, it's a Compton thing. We got the OG, we got Tiny T up in here, all up in the spot.
Scotty D! What's up, baby? Let me give you that hug.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
only got these. Flathead.
You know what? Let me try one anyway. Shit, see what I
What you got going, Scotty? What we doing on Scotty TV today?
Well, this right here, not Scotty TV. This right here, How the West Was Won.
How the West Was Won?
Yeah.
How the West is?
And radio. Got the radio show, got the book, all that.
Okay.
All that.
Okay.
We're gonna do this show. This is beautiful right here. We got crew, we got Tila, we got the mobile home. We all out here right over here. You guys see this right here is Compton. This is a nice part behind Park Village in Compton, the Cypress. Doing the big. We got the mobile home. About to do this tour. Y'all know who I am. I'm Scotty D, How the West Was Won. Putting it down. I got my family behind me. We're about to go put this down out here in the city of Compton. We're going to Irvine, then we're going to the Bay. How the West Was Won. I'm back quiet.
Mixtapes and we're DJing parties. We're having a lot of fun in Compton. I'm venturing out, going to LA, promoting my guys. I said, forget this, man. It wasn't enough money. And at that time, cocaine hadn't came out, wasn't no big money involved with what we were doing as far as hustling. The drug of choice to sell back then was PCP, Angel Dust, Sherm Sticks, Lovely, little bags of weed. Cocaine wasn't really, in our neighborhood. I didn't know nothing about it. Unless you go to the west side, you want to get you a snort or a bump if you was a player like that. But regular homies like me from the hood, we wasn't on that cocaine like that. We was dipping them sticks. We was making up that love. We was steaming up angel dust off them mint leaves. So that's how we was getting our little paper, but it wasn't really, I had homies that was cooking. We were getting the big breathing bottles and barrels, and PCP was rampant in Compton. The best PCP at that time came out of Compton and Watts. Oh man, anyway. No statute of limitations on the dope game, I guess, but I did my time already. It's already recorded, public record. Scotty D was one of them guys. But today, I just want to let you guys know, it ain't where you from, it's where you going. We went into this, so I said, you know what? I'm going to the Navy. I'm going to join the military and get me some money. So I get to the Navy, and I ended up getting stationed all the way back to Long Beach. Wow, how about that? From boot camp to South Carolina. And when I got to my ship, started talking to the guys about DJing. They said, well, we could DJ on the ship. I'm like, really? So my boy Slick Nick from out of New York, we were the first ones to get permission from the captain for us to start DJing on the ship. And he brought these tapes and stuff from New York with Frankie Crocker, Rock the Rocker. I'm like, man, we could do this on this ship, and that's what we'll do, play other people's tapes. Like the stuff I got from Job Corps, we'll play the stuff live on the ships. And we were doing really good, so they transferred me back to Long Beach. And I get to Long Beach, I'm back with my crew now. But I'm back not only with my crew, I'm back with my crew with a stack. You know what I'm saying? I'm Stack a Dollar now. So Stack a Dollar got this thing, and my crew is, you know, it ain't humming and bumming, but all they need is a little bit of leeway, some room. Spade, Mixmaster Spade, got his paper right. I got my paper right, so we started putting it together, doing bigger things, like a couple of dances and stuff. But things wasn't like panning out like I thought they were going to even pan out. Even brought some of my homies from the military that got big money, big sergeants and stuff, got more money than me. And I'm bringing them in as partners to help do these dances. It wasn't panning out right because of Uncle Jam's Army. Couldn't beat those dudes, man.
We broke all the music before K-Day did. So I think the excitement, and also it was so much like a concert. Because being at the sports arena, we were playing through 64 speakers, so it was big. You know, for people to be there, they felt like they were at a big event, which they were at a big event.
It was just something about their first couple of dances that you just didn't want to do. You couldn't do nothing if you want to go on a major scale because of something. I don't know what it was. Probably just in the way God planned all this stuff and the divine destiny for all of us to link up and be one, like how the West was one. So we're doing a party in Compton. We got a bunch of flyers. There's a lot of people there, but I'm thinking it's going to be way more people. So I tell DJ D, look, man, I'm supposed to leave. He said, where you going? So I'm supposed to go to Uncle Jam's Army. They're having a dance tonight. I'm supposed to go over there. I'm supposed to pass out some flyers. I'm supposed to get some of his crowd. Boom, I take off. I get over to there. I'm by myself. One day, I'm pretty much always by myself. Back then, I used to carry my little pistol. You know, I didn't know because I don't know where the enemy is. So I go over to Uncle Jam's Army, and I'm passing out flyers inside the joint. I got in for free anyway, but I'm passing out flyers. One of them big old security guard dudes caught me. And the big old security guard called me, like, they get passing my flyers in the line, man. I'm put your hands on, I'm gone. So one of them came back and had a fly. Roger ran over there. Hey, yo, man, you can't be passing. I said, all right, I'm supposed to leave. He said, no. Do you know this group on this flyer? I said, yeah, the Soundmaster crew, DJ D, that's my crew.
Uncle Jam's contribution to hip hop on the West Coast is we were the first ones to bring East Coast to the mainstream. We were the first ones to have a mix show in LA on as far as hip hop, because Michael Moore and Tony Joseph were on KJLH before we had our mix show on K-Day. And we were responsible for breaking many records on the radio. We were playing them on the mix show, and then Greg Mack would put them in rotation on K-Day. We were dictating the station back then.
He said, oh, really? Well, I'm doing a dance at the LA Convention Center. I want to know if you want to bring this group over there. I'm like, yeah, I'll bring them out. But see, Roger was at the Eve After Dark the night that DJ D and Richie C and WizKid performed.
Doing lots of parties with Uncle Jam's Army.
Right.
And Uncle Jam was the big, promoter situation. They had Egyptian Lover. They had Bobcat, Roger, and they would throw these huge parties at the LA Sports Arena, and I was the only one they let rap. And that was before anybody in LA was really trying to rap. In New York, they had a guy named Dapper Dan who did that kind of stuff. Well, Scotty was the first one in
This West Coast culture goes back to the biblical days of Hercules, Samson, and the gladiators. Black bodybuilders on the West Coast brought mass muscle from the backyards of South Central Los Angeles, Compton, Watts, to the iron pits of Venice and Muscle Beach, Gold's Gym, then amateur and pro competition. These iron addicts, guys of the weight pile, were gang affiliated. Some 300 club prison hogs, others just worked out to stay in shape. But every neighborhood had a workout house or apartment to do their bench pressing, deadlifting, curls, and back arms at. Being swole was the thing to do in the 1970s and 80s. Sergio Oliva, Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bill Grant inspired some of these brothers to reign supreme once they hit the pro ring. They were monsters without steroids, so naturally swole in body mass and muscle that the competition judges didn't even know how to judge them. Black men changed the game in mostly every sport. Bodybuilding is no exception. These great men of steel, built gangsters, dominated every venue they entered. All eyes on the West, especially when the world heard about, then they saw the greatest built gangster of them all, Craig Munson. Big Craig Munson was inspired by the rest, but he inspired the West. Lee Haney, Robbie Robinson, C.T. Fletcher, Cali Muscle, and honorable mention Bill Pettis and Ronnie Coleman are just a few West Coast pros that broke records, took Mr. Universe, Mr. World, Mr. Olympia, and many other titles in the United States and around the globe. But giving credit where credit is due, every neighborhood has somebody on swole that was not a stage pro. Like Westside Monster Cody, Stanley Tookie Williams, Donald Archie, Tony Stacy, Big James Miller, Michael Christian, Kibo, Maury and Mark, Big Cass, Lou Harris, Russell Capers, and Big Skeet. Eastside, Verdi Swan, Taboo Battle, Big John, 40 Ounce, Buster Jones, Randall Shelton, Sam Meshack, Sammy Cash, Smokey, Marshine, Shane, and Terry Simmons. Compton, Mac Thomas, Head Honcho, Gangster, Big Willie Williams, Maurice Strong, Puddin', Tam, Momo, Oz, Big Jake, Ricky Randall, Bucci, Bay Rob, Ken Tate, Raider, Big Pete, J-Dog, Lebo, John Block, Eddie Wilborn, Brian Joyce, Junebug, Boss Hogg, Keith Drew, and Ronnie Cross. Watts, Ray Boyce, Wolf, Bay Ron, Sinbad, Big Tank, Sam Thornton, Donald Beasley, and Big Vince Thomas, to name a few of the thousands that bodybuild naturally, no steroid juice. Black bodybuilders in the 1970s and 80s didn't use that shit. 1, because they didn't know enough about it. 2, they couldn't afford it. And 3, didn't want to get clowned for cheating. More power, more problems. Rumor is that in 1984-85, pro bodybuilders Francisco Colombo, Sergio Avila, and Robbie Robinson went to San Quentin prison to see this magnificent 300 club weight pit. And to no avail, West Side inmate Ricky Porter put him on check, saying, "We straight peanut butter, top ramen, and tuna up in here, no steroids. Y'all don't want none of this natural shit." He clowned them dudes, and they didn't touch no iron that day. Years later, January 2nd, 1998, Chief Deputy Director of the California Department of Corrections, Greg Harding, under then Governor Pete Wilson, banned weights in all the California prisons. Damn shame. But don't get it twisted, because that didn't stop nobody from staying on swole and on point. Improvising with water bags, sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, burpees, and other calisthenics, still keeping them on beast mode. But if you got too swole, too big for the COs to control, you was going to the hole. Google these pioneers and neighborhood legends that paved the way for the next generation of bodybuilders. And this is how the West was won.
Now, radio didn't really play a big part in Uncle Jam's Army when we made radio. Roger had this thing that he didn't really like radio. I never really questioned him about it. It didn't matter to me because we were out putting those posters up all over LA and people were packing the dances. This radio station came in called K. They were already there, but their format wasn't no rap at all. Their format was not rap. This guy came in, Jack Patterson, and he really opened the doors for this stuff to change up because they had their ear to the streets and they knew that we were doing things. And he also brought in this guy named Greg Mack over there. But before they did all that, they had a guy working there, his name was Roy Kaufman. Roy Kaufman put together this thing about radio stations supposed to be community-based. So he was a person that was always in the community. When he came to the station, he was just that community activist at all times. Even growing up, going to school and everything. He was always a political person, but he knew he wanted to help his people, not just black people, but all people. He was a people person. So they gave him a position over at K-Day. I think he even made his position up, called K-Day Performing Arts.
Yeah, K-Day Performing Arts.
Okay.
And only radio station in history even had one of those.
Wow. How did that discussion come about for K-Day Performing Arts?
Basically, going to school, sitting at talent shows, having open audition like we did back in the day, having great young talent come and show us their hip-hop skill, rap skill, or basic music skills, basically, but we didn't just stop at that. And for those who thought had a chance, we gave them until more of instruction, training, development, stage presence, sound, the whole 9 yards, and some broke out. The radio station helped put some who really had potential, put them on the radio, and that's how we did. That's how a lot of groups got broke. They got their radio, got them organized in terms of their record labels, and there were a lot of independent labels at that day, and that's what we did. And so a lot of groups, that's how they got off, and they used K-Day as a sounding board. People like the young folks like that took them around, and that made it happen for them.
Where he had all these young talent coming out of the communities he would go to, and he would bring them in like, look, and he would groom you. There are certain rules and regulations about how to even conduct yourself, what to wear. You couldn't be wearing no blue in the red neighborhood, couldn't wear no red in the blue neighborhood. And you just had to, conduct yourself accordingly. So Roy Kaufman brought in people like from different neighborhoods, like Coolio was a performing artist, Ice-T was performing, Def Jeff, you had Shampoo Press and Curl, you had Kid Frost, our Latino brothers.
There's Kid Frost, the entertainer, and then there's Arturo Molina, the man. It's two different people. When you go out there and you're in this rap game and you do your music and you do your life, I didn't get on it for a million haters to go, oh, fuck him, fuck that vato, he's not from nowhere, he's not even a gangbanger. Homie, go out there and talk about what I've done and my accomplishments, that I became 1990s Billboard Music Latino Artist of the Year and got a Billboard Award, and I've got gold and platinum plaques on my wall.
Y'all don't know Latin Americans, and we have a few white guys too. We had DJ Flash.
Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. I'm DJ Flash, your humble host. In 1981, I met Duffy Hooks III. He had just launched the West Coast's first all-rap label, Rappers Rap Records. After auditioning in Hollywood, he signed me as a producer and member of the Rappers Rap Group.
You had Henji and Evil E, they were also there. It's Jewel from Death Row Records, she was to sing with them. You had Supreme, you had Jeff Casper. There was a lot of people learn from Roy how to get their stage presence. So that was one thing that made K-Day stand out. We really loved how radio embraced the whole culture. The culture, we would go up there to different days when you have New Music Day. Everybody would bring their records up, and you would see little young dudes sitting in the lobby. And I got records in my hand, like a Ralph M or something. Give them records, Latino brother. You had Tony G was one of the first dudes up there at K-Day getting it in. When Greg Mack, started with the Mix Master. Another one of our Latino brothers. We had our Latin culture in LA was really big, like how New York is with the Puerto Rican culture. We had our Latino brothers here with us. There was no color lines with us. It was like, if you in, you in. You had Johnny J, one of the most prominent producers out of LA. Him and Tony G were like, to this day, they were like up there in the class, but you guys are not going to hear about these guys. You're not going to know about our Latin culture if nobody speaks about it. So that's why we got this in How the West Was Won. We had a real big Latino following. Yeah, radio was starting to get into our rap thing in the early 80s. We say like 82. They just started doing things. I mean, we just had Super Rhyme song came out. They weren't playing on the radio, but it was really popular in the streets. You had Rappers Delight, boom, it came right to radio. That was a good thing through Sugar Hill Records. A few people got their plaques on their walls right now. One of them is my boy Sir T up in the Bay. But LA didn't have a sound on radio until Cletus and Duffy Hook. Well, Duffy Hooks and Cletus came up with this thing with the Rappers Rap Group, and they had a few songs out. They did Disco Daddy. They would do live broadcasts. They started doing live broadcasts everywhere, all over LA, from World on Wheels to Skateland USA. And they would always do shows behind it. So you would have Captain Rap would do Bad Times, and all of our early acts would come out. And you would have Houdini come out and do shows through Uncle Jam's Army. Everywhere Roger would put somebody, we would try to do live broadcasts, following up on different things. They would piggyback off of one another. A lot of our early groups, they didn't have no identity. Like when they came out with the Dream Team. Dream Team was like probably one of our first acts to get signed on a major label. But I know I have to be correct. Lonzo was probably the first one from the World Class Record Crew to get a major deal. And it was really, after those guys were heard on the radio, LA Cats was like, oh, it's people that I know on the radio, so let me do my thing. We had the young kid, King T, came out, boom, he got a song on the radio. You had Mixmaster Spade and Tidy T. Tidy T came out with the Battle Ram. I mean, LA started getting an identity. And all of a sudden, the Def Jam people came, and when Def Jam dropped all them songs from LL Cool J, and then they had Rush Management with all these different acts up under them, from the Houdinis to they had Run DMC, they had Eric B. and Rakim. It was a lot of different acts. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. It was all under one management company. So it would start coming this way, all by way of Roger Clayton, Uncle Jam's Army. Roger went and had a meeting with Russell Simmons, and Russell ended up coming out here to get a distribution deal. It was around the time of a music seminar, one of the music seminars we would have out here in California, and Russell was there, and these two guys, Daryl and Dwayne Simon is Roger Clayton's first cousin. Daryl Pierce, and Muffler, they were in a group together, and they were trying to get on, make records. Everybody else was doing it, so why not them? They made a few records, got a couple things going, but it wasn't boom, what they wanted. So they met Russell at this music seminar, and at that time they was working with a kid named L.A. Breeze. L.A. Breeze, MC Breeze, he did a song called Ooh, L.A., California, hey, that was him. They put that song up, well, that wasn't a song, but they put that guy together, and they put a demo together. Russell heard it. Out of all the people that was at the seminar, Russell liked LA Posse music. Next thing you know, he said, look, I like this. I'm sending you guys out to New York. And it was only 2 tickets. And Dwayne said, nah, man, it's 3 of us. We got him. So all 3 of them went to New York, and the rest is LA Posse, West Street.
This is Dwayne Muffler Simon. Everybody calls me Muffler. I've grown to really answer to that now, because Bobcat gave me that name.
How'd he come up with it?
We were at the studio. We were upstairs in the dirty-ass Chungking Studio A. I was drinking beer. Now, everybody that really knows me know I don't drink. And I'm in the studio with Steve X, LL, Bobcat, Tech Creations, and Daryl. They all leave, and they went to these stores. And we was gone for maybe a good hour. When they left, I was on the mixing board. When they got back, I was in the lounge on the couch, sleep. They said, Muff, what are you doing, man? Did you finish the song? You in here sleeping. I thought you was going to finish the song while we was going. I said, I did finish it. I was just waiting for you guys to get back to listen to it. I was halfway sobered up a TT. Them niggas are straight sober. And Steve X comes in, he turns the tape on, and everything is like, the whole track was muffled. It didn't have no highs, no mids, no nothing. It was just all bottom in. And so Bobcat said, nigga, you done muffled the track. I'm gonna call you Muffler. I started DJing with Uncle Jam's Army, of course. But, Roger being my first cousin, he's real family. But Roger would never let me get on the thing. So I started throwing all my own dances out here in the desert at the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds, and them shit used to bump. 1982. I met Lester at A.B. College. Him and Darryl were going to A.B. College, and they wanted to throw a dance. And one of our mutual friends said, "Why don't you get with Dwayne? You guys want to throw a dance? You know, he went Uncle Jam's Army." And so they reached out to me, and I met him up at the college, and we started throwing dances together. We make a store run. Come back, we got the ice cold 40s. I got a bottle of yak in my back pocket. Got sacks of weed. Muff twisting, blazing. We pulling something out for the dead homies. So look, and Todd is like, you know, we passed him with 40. He don't want to hit it. We think this nigga's a square. But Todd was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I don't want my lyrics to be slurred. Muff got on that drum machine, got 808. Todd was loving it because it sounded like a Def Jam sound. He just went to work. First line he laid was called Get Down. That's how the first recording with him was, you know, and at some point he used to say, he said, I really was doubting y'all at first because you got high and drunk all the time, but you could make beautiful shit. Wow. I often think about that, and I'm just thinking about me personally. I wish that we had did it more like Dre does his albums. Like Dre doesn't stand on top of his albums and try to be the best rapper, or the biggest star. He lends his name and his what's the word I'm trying to say? His showmanship as a producer,
right,
and a good eye for talent, and lays that platform out. And you know, whoever can make the final cut, that's who's on the records. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That album would have been dope if we had did it like that, but Sylvia told us not to. Well, and if you think about it, we kind of did, but I don't think we really focused on it because they were pressuring us into give them to turn in something. And we was running out of bread. You know, John King made a lot of money off of that fucking deal. But when we turned in, you know, Breeze was on it, Rage was on it.
Okay.
Monifa was on it. Amel was on it. Joy Cardwell, Big L the Mac. LL wrote on it. Houdini wrote on it. We also did the title track for a film called Waxworks 2. As a tandem, you know, it was bigger and deafer. But Muff did Panther. That was the one time we were very disappointed with our LA niggas, man. So me and Muff went to go meet with Dre and Suge over at Solar. And we was playing the LA Posse album. And Dre stood up and got excited when he heard Rage's voice. He said, "Who is she?" Well, I guess Rage. Said, "I want her." It was like, okay. And Suge looked at us like, "You sure?" It was like, man, it's just getting too expensive. Sylvia didn't want her because Sylvia had Yo-Yo. Sylvia had Light. You didn't see no need for her. So anyway, you know, we gave them information to get in contact with her, and they made it happen.
You didn't even know.
You need to know. This is one of them bloopers gonna be on the film. One blooper. He caught me working.
Yeah,
this is King T, the whole Soundmaster crew stack, Mixmaster Spade, DJ D, Wiz Kid, Lil Richard C, the old school Soundmasters, Mixmaster Spade, Mixmaster King, Tiny T, Def Casper, myself. You know, the Soundmaster crew stack, the original dude, straight out of Compton, Spoonie C, Coolio, all them other stuff. That's Spoon right there. You know, King T. It's a good stack.
See, he started talking, but we was doing some other shit in the background, but it was on the blooper reel.
I got Curtis Blow. That's Curtis Blow talking.
Curtis Blow. If you didn't know.
That stack over there. New York stack is over there. I had proved to him I went to New York before, so I was talking to the Popo and took a picture. I was out there when Notorious Big and Craig Mack had their show. I had to go see what was cracking. I got that contract. I was one of the only two people on the West Coast
Myself, well, 3 people. Myself, Sir T, and Al Robinson, Al Reezy up in the Bay. We was the only ones working Biggie, well, Bad Boy, and Death Row at the same time. Once they found out we was working for Death Row, they cut us off. They didn't want that to happen, but we was out there.
Look, I caught him off guard.
They caught me way off guard. You want to see some Curtis Blow? I got Prince Whip. I got some old school cats up in here. That's E-Love. E-Love used to be with LL Cool J holding that big ass radio.
E-Love.
One of my best customers for my sweatsuit, Grandmaster D. This the right stat? Yeah, I think this is New York. Mark the 45 King, my man Cliff Love. Ronnie Ray. And that's my man right here, Dice. He used to be with Houdini. He used to be with Run DMC. This right here, classic. I don't want nobody to really see this yet until the book come out. This is when everybody was broke, coming from the East Coast. You got Ecstasy and Dynasty, twin brothers from Houdini. You got the Beastie Boys back there. You got LL, like right here, look at LL right there. Broke, all on the same bus musty. Tony Rome. Tony Rome was down with, you know, he was a road manager and everything. In the back, you got the Beastie Boys. You got Leora back here, Cohen. You got...
What's happening, Sir T?
What's happening, man?
All well, brother. How about yourself?
Brain about West Coast radio from the beginning. West Coast radio from the beginning. Okay. With you, we talking about you. Before Greg Mack, before all these other dudes, all Cammy Hill and all them big shots, it was Sir T in the Central Valley doing his thing. Yeah, we started, well actually, I was listening to, you know, I used to imitate like these DJs that they had a station called XPRS that used to boom out of Mexico, man. Remember that, Baja California?
Oh, wow.
50,000 watt, you could hear it on the whole way. Yeah. Sean Green and Wolfman Jack and all them dudes.
Okay.
I used to like imitate them, man. December, I think of 78, they just started this radio station. And it was a country formatted station on a 5,000 watt AMer, which was a powerhouse. It boomed into 14 counties from Lancaster all the way down to the coast, all the way up to Washington. We didn't turn the signal down. It boomed into Idaho and Washington at night. We used to get calls, hey, you're drowning us out, because we used to have to turn the transmitter down to 1,000 watts at night.
Damn.
I was like 13 when I started. It was January 79, I was on the radio. And then, you know, we were playing all that shit, Night Flight. Howard Johnson was like in Night Flight, you know, Shalimar, all that old school shit was brand new music, man.
Okay.
We were breaking all that shit. Then they put me on the station. I mean, and in 70, I learned how to get promo copies and all that shit, because they sent records in the mail, and I started calling the labels. Then they made me a little box, you know, later on, the CRD years later. But then I get these promo copies, and I got the Fatback Band. And then I put that record on. I used to play, see, back then we get little records, 45s and shit, or like envelopes, records with 45s, and they'd have like $100, $200 bills and $300 bills, and that shit was a lot of money back then. You know, like, please play my record,
right.
More, you know, we got you. Yeah, I mean, well, we incorporated, like, you know, we like I said, we were playing disco, soul, and funk.
Okay.
But once rap came in, we incorporated it with rap, you know, so we were playing it all together. We were probably the first to format all that shit together. I mean, I'm sure everybody else did it, you know, right after we did it, but since we were the first ones to play this shit on the radio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I was just like this, man. I love music so much, dude, and I couldn't, you know, now I've learned to appreciate, like, some different types of music, like rock and classic rock and shit, but back in the day, I was all black music, bro. That's the only thing that I was feeling, man. I used to play whatever the fuck I want. I listened to the whole album, and if I liked an album track, I didn't give a fuck about the single, man.
Okay.
I didn't have to follow no charts and none of that shit. You know what I mean? I could play whatever the fuck I want. I get a record, I listen to it. If I liked it, I'm gonna play it, man. What station was that again? It was AM 1010 KCHJ.
What made you play King Tim III?
I just thought it was different, man.
Okay.
I'm like, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it was like, they were kind of like rhyming and shit, so I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna play this. I busted that out, and then after that, you had like Super Rhymes and all these other shit started coming out. Shortly after that, there was a station that opened up in Lemoore, and it was called K-Jock. The dude that owned that station, man, I'm surprised they never give this dude his props. His name was John Pembroke. They called him He'd be like 5888888, make you feel great on that date. You know, he'd be rhyming like that. You know, and he was, if you looked at dude, he looked like a black Farmer John, or like he looked like the dude that was on Green Mile. I always had overall country motherfucker. The only 24-hour soul station in Central Cali.
Okay.
You know, and then we played the same type of format. We played funk, old school, oldies, and rap. King John was like one of the first independent black radio ownerships that had like a bunch of stations. He had WPL in Charleston, South Carolina. He had stations all over the country. He had like probably 9 to 13 stations. Him and his wife Ophelia. Pembroke. That was the name, Pembroke. P-E-M-B-R-O-K.
Okay.
You had some DJs come into that, but I mean, KCHJ was the first, and then later on, a dude named DJ Flash, me and him became friends, and that dude he was the first white boy rapper ever, man. So Lee was like, you know, probably maybe 9-10 months after I was, maybe a year.
Okay.
But you know, so we used to cross promote each other, dog. And you're talking about 2 different broadcasting companies, man, both independently owned, 2 old white women, man.
Wow.
And both of them were country stations in the daytime, and then we flipped to like, you know, playing the shit that we played at night. You know what I mean? We did it and they did it, and then we cross promote each other, man. I promote him, he promote me, and you never heard of motherfuckers doing that shit.
Damn.
I mean, but they were 2 little old white ladies that were friends, you know what I mean? Man, me and Scotty did like shit. We were on, that's how me and Scotty got to know each other through rides, and then plus we were on so many of the same street teams, man.
Okay.
You know, so we talked to each other for years, you know. We talked to each other for years, and we'd be on conference calls, and we'd meet up at like Death Row or different labels, or, you know.
Damn.
And every time I got something, I'd try to shoot to Scotty, and Scotty, you know, Scotty would shoot shit to me. 85 would never give motherfuckers nothing, though. You remember that, Scotty? That motherfucker wouldn't give us a crumb, dog. 85 wouldn't give us a crumb, homie. But E1 used to shoot me shit. I used to shoot shit back. I mean, because E1 had the Latin market in LA.
Okay.
And like Frank Vidal, you know, I knew Frank and the Baker Boys. I used to DJ at the Daddy's Clubs back in the day, man, when they were youngsters, man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were kids, man.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, all them DJs that came out of Bakersfield, Bias One and Chalk and all them, they were like kids, man.
Okay.
You know?
Cause you like that big OG compared to what they were doing. You was like way before that. You was like that big homie.
Yeah, but you never hear the motherfuckers talk about that shit, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, you finna talk about
the
it
Eagles
now.
get too big, you know, especially when you fuck with radio people, man. The Eagles get big, you know.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing how the West was going. So you're gonna have to look back.
1985, 86, LA was at an all-time high in the drug game. I mean, drugs was moving around, especially cocaine. PCP was still at an all-time high also. Gang activity between the red rags and the blue rags, high as a drama. But it was something else going on in the community that's been going on since the 60s. You know, we had uprisings all around, you know. But this thing that was going on in the city of Los Angeles was the biggest gang in LA was setting it off with the people, which is LAPD and the sheriffs. I mean, I'm saying that because LAPD and the LA County Sheriffs beat my ass. See all them scars right here? I wear glasses behind those 2 police forces. They kicked my ass really well, worse than Rodney King. You know, I was way before Rodney King, and I survived. But a group that had a reflection, put a mirror in front of everybody's faces, was a group straight out of Compton, NWA. Eazy-E was a good friend of mine. His first wife, her name was Joyce. Joyce and my sister Ricky were good friends. So Eazy would come over to my house, pick up Joyce sometimes, and me and him would chop it up. So Eazy decided to go ahead and hook up with his good friend Dr. Dre and come up with this group. And there was only like one studio around that time, which was Lonzo from the World Class Record Crew, who had a club called the Eve After Dark, which, like I told you guys, the Sign Master crew went there. I knew Lonzo, but didn't hang out with him. Wasn't my gig. You know, I was doing my own thing. You want to impress me then? Still, you had to buy a sweatsuit. But Easy was a good friend, so when they came up with their few records, you know, I helped him. I was promoting, so he would give me some records. I would go get some money, you know, just to get it out there. Next thing I know, they come up with this song called Boys in the Hood. We took it, Cletus Anderson put it on mixtape, and back then they would call it bootlegging, but me, I call it promotions. Cletus put that song on the tape with some other groups that was on that tape, and that tape was all over LA like a mixtape. And everybody wanted to know who this doggone group was, NWA, because they never heard that Dope Boy song. He was talking about boys in the hood. You know, it was bad. It was really terrible with the police. So NWA was a big reflection of our communities, and it spread it out. Like I said, I was promoting Easy, and people didn't know it. I would put Easy record, King T's record, and MC Hammer's record at that time with Ringo in the same boxes I was sending to different people that we were selling our sweatsuits to at the time. And some of the guys, they would like send them back or call me, hey, this guy shit is whack. Or some people say, oh man, we want to do a show with him down here in Texas. We want to do a show with him down here or over here. And they would do that. And that stuff just started being really getting promoted across the United States. Easy ended up putting out their own records. So Easy started doing this thing, and we all, at that time, we all supported one another. When Easy would have a party, we would all go. I got pictures, you know, the pictures you'll see. And we were all like family, and to this day, most of us are still, you know, have a relationship. We speak. No matter how high you are, you still got to come down. And I'm standing where I'm at, and I got a good rapport still with all these guys and females. But Easy did something that nobody else would do. He stayed independent, and he started getting out there and pushing his music, and everybody was helping him. He was helping other people also. He never said no. He was like Mixmaster Spade. You came, you had some talent, let's go. You know, Spade, same way. They would always give more than they received. Easy just got blessed to receive a lot more to help him do a lot more. He would give to charities and things like that. So for Easy, it's just all the accomplishments he did and all the work we did, my plaques and stuff on the walls. He mentioned me on the back of his album covers and stuff. And it was all people went through, from Fela Al. The stories are there. The Fela Al's, the King Scratches, people on the first album covers. You gotta do some research and know who I'm talking about. But Easy, for all the stuff he did in this world, being a gangster that he was, really true, straight from the hood, and wasn't taking no mess from no Suge Knight, no Don King, no Mike Tyson, no Mayweather. Easy was a little big man. So for him to have AIDS and die tripped a lot of us out. I mean, I know people right now that have been having AIDS for 20 years. Magic Johnson, you all know Magic Johnson, how he didn't die. But Easy have AIDS for a week? I think we all need to investigate that and bring up all these stories from Johnny J, from Easy and Pop, and even Biggie. I mean, we should all, if we're really hip-hop fans, if we really love our people, we need to reopen up all these cases and find out what really happened to all them guys. But back to Easy, for that guy to die like that, and for his whole legacy to like go down to nothing, something was really a conspiracy about that, because Easy would have left all what he had to his children. Easy would have left all he had to his good friends. Easy would have made sure people that he had placed in positions are still eating right now, as long as he kept pushing what he represented, which was Ruthless Records. Damn shame. That's all I can say. Damn shame. And we're gonna do something about it. This is how the West was won.
Cats be just like this.